Hello, my name is Peter Miyamoto, and I'd like to invite you to the next concert on the Odyssey Chamber Music Series, which will take place on Friday, December 3rd at 7 p.m. at the First Baptist Church here in Columbia, Missouri. On the program, I'll have the pleasure of playing two works, starting with the George Walker Sonata for two pianos, which I'll perform with my wife, Ayako Tsuruda. And then in the second half, I'll play a piece that is very near to my heart, the Beethoven Archduke Trio for violin, cello, and piano, which I'll play with my colleagues, Julie Rosenfeld, violin, and Emma Heft, cello. In many ways, I owe the fact that I am a professional musician today to the wonderful experiences I had in high school playing in a piano trio. From the time I was 15, I joined a trio. We were all born in August, so we were called the August Trio, or August Trio. And we had a great time playing music that was probably too advanced for me. Piano parts are always very difficult. But we started with the Dvorak-Dumke Trio, a Beethoven Opus 70 number 2. I remember in our second year together, we played the Brahms Trio that my wife just performed on Odyssey this month, and a Mozart Trio. And then in my senior year, we took on just one piece, and that was the Beethoven Archduke Trio. It's a monumental work of epic beauty. It's approximately 40 minutes long and is one of the most lyrical, beautiful pieces Beethoven wrote. The work is titled the Archduke Trio after the Archduke Rudolph, who was Beethoven's friend, benefactor, piano and composition student, and the dedicatee of this work. In truth, he was the dedicatee of many of Beethoven's great masterpieces, including the fourth and fifth piano concertos, the Piano Sonata Les Adieux, Opus 81A, the last Piano Sonata, Opus 111, the Grosse Fugue, the Missa Solemnis. The list really goes on. So he was very important as a friend and benefactor to Beethoven. The trio belongs to Beethoven's heroic or middle period, but it's not the same Beethoven as in the Emperor Concerto, also written for Archduke Rudolph and from the same year, beginning with this virtuoso, outwardly heroic cadenza. The trio is rather more intimate, expressive. It begins with this unfolding in the piano part of a beautiful theme. There's a kind of lyricism to the language, and it takes its time in unfolding. The piano gets the theme first, but it is eventually taken up by the violin and then the cello in a rather extended area. Again, this is a work of epic proportions. It lasts about 40 minutes long, and therefore it takes its time. It rather is reminiscent to me of a later work from 1828, the Schubert group, in the same key. It's the last sonata in B flat, D 960. most sonata allegro movements, the first theme on the tonic, in this case B flat major for the Archduke Trio, would be followed by a second theme on the dominant or F major. It's interesting that Beethoven chooses to use the very romantic technique of thirds relationships, and instead places it in the key of G major. It's interesting that it's in G major, and it does remind me of another work also dedicated to Archduke Rudolph IV piano concerto. Maybe it's that rhythmic profile that's also common to both of them. And also in that piece, the relationship of the third is so important, going from G major tonic to the B major. Just to give you a little taste of the other movements, the second movement is a fast scherzo, a quirky little, quite simple theme. It has a contrasting trio section, which is very chromatic and rather eerie. It begins with a fugato. Beethoven starts to use fugues more and more, and it's a big trademark of his late period. But this one, a little bit, is a premonition of that. In many ways, the emotional core of the Archduke Trio is the third movement. It's a set of theme and variations, 5 variations. It's rather reminiscent, even the theme itself is reminiscent of the late Beethoven Sonata Opus 109 as a slow movement, which is like a saraband, emphasis on the second beat. That was written later, but I hear something similar in this theme. That's 3/4 of the theme. The last phrase is really taken up by the strings. The movement itself, it's 5 variations. It's interesting in that it follows the usual pattern of increasing rhythmic values for each variation. So whereas that had a lot of quarter notes and eighth notes, the first variation is in eighth note triplets, the second variation mostly in 16th notes, and so on. Interestingly, as in the Emperor Piano Concerto and the 81A sonatas, there is no break between the third and fourth movements, and we launch immediately through a kind of miraculous chordal progression into the rather quirky last movement. It's a lot of fun. It's the trio overall has a real mix of maybe some profound moments, lyric moments, and almost humorous moments. The ending is interesting too. It launches in, it's a 7-part rondo, but the last version of the theme is in the wrong key, and it launches into a presto dash to the end, which is exhilarating and exciting. Anyway, I hope you will enjoy the Archduke Trio. It's one of my favorite pieces. The other work I'll be playing on the Odyssey concert is the Sonata for 2 pianos by George Walker. I won't demonstrate much of the piece, mostly because it would be really impractical to try and play 2 pianos on 1 piano. But I will say a few things about the composer, George Walker. One of the overlooked real great composers, American composers. His father was a Jamaican immigrant who worked his way through medical school and became a physician. George Walker was something of a prodigy on the piano, especially. He graduated from Oberlin at age 18 and went on to studies at my alma mater, the Curtis Institute, where he was the first Black American to graduate, I believe, and studied piano with Rudolf Serkin, composition, as well as chamber music with Grigor Piatigorsky and William Primrose. So he had amazing training. He went on to study eventually both piano and composition in Europe, studying composition with Nadia Boulanger. And as a pianist, broke down a lot of barriers as well. He was, as winner of the Philadelphia piano competition, soloed with Eugene Ormandy and the Philadelphia Orchestra in his New York debut at Town Hall in Rachmaninoff Third Piano Concerto. Other achievements, he finished his doctorate at the Eastman School, and actually it was there that as his dissertation he wrote a piano sonata, number 2, and the 2 piano sonata is actually a transcription or arrangement of that work, which was his DMA thesis, reworked for 2 pianos. He talks about the work as being based all on thirds, which I thought was interesting, since so much of the Beethoven Archduke is also based on thirds relationships. It begins with a theme and variations. Everything in this work is very organized, but rather compact. The theme and variations movement is rather short. The whole sonata takes 12 minutes, I would say. The second movement, Presto Scherzo, is full of vibrancy and life. And slow movement follows, monothematic. And then the last movement is a sonatina form, allegro. And again, it's highly organized, but very beautiful music language that he employs. George Walker went on to a huge career as a composer. I mean, he got commissions from so many great orchestras. All of the main foundations gave him grants, including the Guggenheim. He won a Pulitzer, MacDowell Colony, and he broke so many barriers in academia. He was the first Black tenured faculty at Smith College, and went on to be the dean or director of Rutgers University Music Program for many years. He lived a long life and passed away in 2018. And yes, very prolific. His music has been played by all of the major orchestras in the country, and in short, I think it's just a shame that he's not better known. But I hope you will get to know his music if you don't already know it. Be introduced to it by this wonderful sonata for two pianos, and hope you explore his music further.
Hello, everybody. My name is Anthony Coleman Blatter, and I am a fifth-year undergraduate student at the University of Missouri studying a Bachelor's of Music and Vocal Performance and a Bachelor of Arts in Theater Performance. And this Friday, December 3rd, at the Odyssey concert, I will be singing 3 classic Christmas songs that we all know and love. The first one, a Christmas song, which for me, this song means a lot to me because when I arrived at Mizzou and I joined the Opera Scenes program, one of the things that we do at the end of every semester is we have a cookie day where during the holidays, we all get together at the end of the semester for class, but instead of having class, we eat cookies. Professor Seitz bakes a whole bunch of cookies, and we just celebrate the semester and hang out with one another. My first semester, she sang this song, and it touched me so much, and I never really get to do music like this, and so I said, why not sing this song on a Christmas concert with Odyssey, because it meant so much when she sang it the first time. The second song I will be singing is You're a Mean One, Mr. Grinch, arranged by Jack Kankowitz, which I am so thankful that Jack arranged this song for me to sing on this concert. This song, well, The Grinch, has a special place in my heart. It has been a childhood favorite movie of mine and my family's since I was little. And so, especially the Jim Carrey version, oh my gosh, incredible. And so I'm just so thankful that Jack arranged this, because it's been a dream to sing this song one day, and now I finally get to, which I'm very excited about. The third and final song is Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas. This song touches me a lot. It was my grandma's favorite song, and she would play it all the time on her record player when I would go over to her house. And so this song has a special place in my heart as well. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoy the wonderful, beautiful concert and music making. So glad that we're back to live audiences.